you get double voices, and that's no good. Right, so I've clicked go live. I think it's doing something. I'm just waiting for the YouTube feed to start.
Sorry, I have the hiccups. It says you're in the show. There you go. Everyone can see and hear you. So Danielle starts
It's
acting like a goofus.
now all good, all good. Okay, I see a live timer ticking, but
Yes.
I'm just gonna go back in just to make sure it is working. Oh, it does say live, which is good. Okay, good. There we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay, a bit of not a full start, but let me do that again. So, welcome to. I think this is the first live after show from Soundtrack of Your Life with my special guest Danielle Wilson. So, we've just recorded the usual show that goes out on the same channel you're watching this on, Inner Peace Walker TV, and will be out on all major podcast platforms from tomorrow. But this after show that I speak of here is literally just carrying on the conversation we had from the show. That's all about the stories in your life that connect music, so that's soundtracks, theme tunes, albums, bands, songs, whatever you want, to the people, events, scenarios, moments in your life. Because I believe we've all got stories to tell when it comes to that. So I thought, let's make a show where everybody can get on and share those stories with us. So Danielle and I have had a great wide-ranging hour full of chat and stories and moments that have come along. And we thought, look, let's just carry the conversation off a little bit with a live audience. So if you are along, hello and welcome. Do chip in with any comments, questions you might have in the chat. We'll try and get around to them in the time we have, which we'll probably do, say, maybe half an hour or so, see whether the mood takes us and all that. And yes, Danielle, if you'd, I don't know, like to reintroduce yourself to people.
Reintroduce myself. Okay. So hello, I'm Danielle Wilson. And I guess I'm a bit of a business mentor. I work with small businesses to show them how to create more sales revenue in a profitable way by creating a client centered approach to their business. And so that's what I do for work. But what I do for life is I build my own house, and I move off grid, and I move 2,500 kilometers, to the east, to the middle of nowhere, and those kinds of things. Um, and I am an enormous musically oriented person. Not from the sense that I play instruments and those kinds of things, unless you count singing as an instrument, um, but from the perspective of it
Not very
having
much
been an
so.
enormous. Oh well, there you go then. Having been an enormous central part, actually, really truly central part of my life for the last couple of years, not being able to sing like I used to has really taken a toll on me, actually. So it's interesting that we're talking together about music and the soundtrack of my life when I recently had an epiphany that the lack of music that's been in my life has been contributing to some of the changes that have been happening to me uh, emotionally, mentally, uh, those kinds of, the way that I identify myself, um, how in touch I feel with who I am anymore. It's very interesting. Yeah. So your last question that you asked me about, is there any song that you feel really kind of shapes your identity or contributes to self worth? That
Yeah.
question, you really brought forward for me the reminder of something I've been reflecting on for quite some time about how since my late husband died, music has no longer been, it's almost like it died with him. So,
Ah.
yeah, it really just kind of like smacked me in the face. Um, that and I had a moment where I had an injury to my vocal cords, and so I'm not singing as much anymore. I don't have the same quality of voice anymore, and what a difference this lack of music is making. Interesting, very interesting,
Do you
very
feel there's
interesting.
do you feel there's any way that you'd introduce yourself? Like, is there any go-to? Like, I know in the session we just had, we've mentioned bands like Journey.
Mm,
They've been quite influential for you.
yeah.
Are there any songs or other bands that also, I guess, gets you back into that passion, if you will, the one that sort of pulls you back?
Oh, absolutely. Sinead O'Connor is a big one. Pink
Oh, right,
Floyd
right.
is enormous. Led Zeppelin, enormous. Black Sabbath, absolutely. Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden. Uh, oh my goodness, there's so many. And again, big huge spectrum. Love Tool. Tool is one of my absolute favorites. Uh, Chicago, if everybody remembers Chicago, they were another one that I absolutely love. Air Supply. Like, there's so many of them. So many of them.
I mean, that's a hell of a band list right there. It's like, well, look, those are big influences for people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they really are.
From all across the spectrum, right? And you mentioned on the show as well that you'd learned piano
Yes.
by your 50th. Do
Yeah.
something you wanted to do? If you could, if someone got you a piano now, what would be your go-to pieces to play?
Fiorellis.
Oh,
Fiorellis would be my
nice.
number one. It's the one song that was the song I wanted to be able to play. And so I made it my mission that would be what I would be able to play. So now don't get me wrong. I'm
Nice.
certainly no concert pianist. I'm not playing, the complex sheet music. I'm playing the simple version, but I can make that noise. So
Absolutely. I mean, look,
yeah.
that's the beauty you get, I guess, with learning an instrument. Like, if you
Yeah.
wanted to do the note for note version, you can do that. But such is, and we mentioned it on the show, like the advances in technology nowadays. So not to only just like consume music, go find a song and this kind of thing, but the amount of resources to learn, not just
Yeah.
playing an instrument, but like production, songwriting,
Right?
recording. Just like you could literally make entire albums at home
Yeah.
with next to nothing.
Well, look
You
at
know.
what's his name? Not Justin Timberlake, the other one, the one from Stratford, Ontario. Bieber.
Oh, good
Isn't that
lord.
pretty? Oh, I didn't. But isn't that really essentially how he started out? Was by doing this and posting it on YouTube and then being discovered that way. Was
Ah,
basically
so
just
they're to
making
blame.
music. They
Oh
are.
dear.
They are to blame. Hey, listen, he's a good Canadian boy. I used to live in Stratford. You got to cut him a little bit of slack. You got to cut him
Well,
a
if he
little bit
look,
of
he's from
slack.
if he's from around you, then I'd say for this show we'll make that exception. But no, like what I was getting at is that there is that temptation to go, okay, well, I have sheet music, I have a version I want to learn and get to grips with, but often if you feel like you're not making progress that quickly on learning that
Mhm.
song, because especially it's the one that I really want to learn this song, and learn the
Yeah.
instrument for that. And you don't get with it, you're like, oh, I can't do it, or I'm not good enough. But such a thing is like the possibilities that are shown by technology nowadays of accessing, as you said, a simpler version if you want.
Yes.
And I always see it as like sometimes the best songs are ones that you could mess around with the key. There's a
Mm.
simple way to play it, there's a more complex way to play it, there's all manner of
Yeah.
abilities to apply that means you can get the satisfaction saying I can play this. What was it I saw the other week, right? A tutorial on how to play a very simple version of the Avengers theme.
Oh.
The big one, the one with big massive strings on it.
Oh, I know
So
it.
the one that like so the one that like everyone gets rolled up with, right? A guy showed on YouTube how to play that riff in
Really?
two, three notes and very basic pattern. He said this is the simplest
Cool.
version, and it sounded exactly like, it wasn't like toned down, or he's like, no,
Right.
that actually sounds like the Avengers theme. And it's like,
Very cool.
you can go more complex versions, adding their little fiddles and licks here and there to make it sound layered. But
Very cool.
if in terms of very like simple way, you can play it that way. He did
Very
he did
cool.
one for the Mission Impossible theme tune as well. So all those bits that like, oh, I want to play that. You don't need the big complicated sheet music orientated stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can play the Dead Cement, and that's what I think, you know, is uh what resonates and adds to real classic great music. And like, you know, there's many a song that you know, you can track back to where the base of it is, say, only 3 chords, like the song Bittersweet Symphony by the Verve is boiled down an E to a D to an A back to an E, cycled all the way through.
Okay.
Extremely easy, extremely powerful.
We all know that opening violin. We all know
Yeah,
it. You hear the first note, and you're like, "Oh, I know this song."
And the whole exactly. And even the whole song itself, that's what it's all based on, the 3 repeating chords, back on itself, back on itself, back on itself. And you're like, that adds to, I think, the almost the myth of the song, or songs. When you hear it like that, it's like, okay, I want to see how do you play that. There must be some complex thing. You look into it, it's like, what, that it? And then you look at like, okay, this guy's either got it, like, you know, whoever's transcribed it or written is like, nah, that's got to be wrong. But when you start to play it or see them play it, you're like, oh shit, it is only those.
It really is.
It's only, as I said, the 2-3 chords cycling round, as opposed to having to know every bit of software and tech and fiddly bit. And
those people amaze me. There's this one guy that's I think he's TikTok. I don't think he's Reels, although what all these creators, they put them on everything. And he is so cool. He goes around the world. He has his own song that he's basically written, but he's written the lyrics in one part. And he goes around and he goes and stands in the street and says, you know, who plays this instrument? And then he gets them to come up, and then, you know, he usually gets like a little bit of a battle between two people. So one time he had them, I think it was, were they playing the cello? Another time it was the trumpet. There's always guitar and, you know, singing and all these other. And he's actually taking the sound bites from these people that he's grabbing off the street, and he's incorporating it into this song. And it is a kick-ass song. And I can't remember the name of it. Don't ask me the name of it because I don't remember. I have a terrible memory for that.
Run me past that again. So he went around with instruments and asked people who plays this, and they would come up and go, oh, I play the trumpet or the cello or the guitar.
Exactly.
Or whatever. And then right. And he'd create a track out of those little bits.
Yep. And so now his song is a compilation of all of these different bits and riffs and sound bites from all of these encounters that he's had all around the world. So it's a group creation. And in my mind, isn't that what music is really all about? Have you ever seen those gatherings of hundreds of musicians?
Yeah, and they'll play
one song.
Yeah. Amazing, right?
I'm even now thinking about it, I'm getting chills. What an undertaking. And they I don't know if you have the same reaction to music that I do, but when I hear music that is really getting to my soul, I can't stop my eyes from leaking. I literally cannot stop myself from crying, from weeping. It's every time I see one of those, the sheer enormity of it all, I guess, it makes me weep. It's amazing that these people all get, and their passion for it. And you can see it in each and every one of them as they're going around with the camera. And it's truly, it's awe-inspiring in the truest sense of awe.
Well, I love it's what we said on the show, right? Music has that, along with sport, a big unifying factor.
Yeah.
Like even in that 100 or whatever you've got people of all ages, ranges, abilities, instruments. You know, someone could have some £10,000 guitar. Some guy's got some £100 guitar, but they both in there, you know, playing along, and it's like, wow,
it's
where else?
Thunderstruck.
Yeah, it's literally, you know, and you're thinking like, what other realm of life would they have come across and united in this manner?
I genuinely can't imagine.
Very few,
I
right?
really, truly, genuinely can't imagine.
Yeah. And this is the beauty of it. Like, it just doesn't have to be an entire you don't have to agree on anything else, but when it comes to music, you're like, yeah, we share the same page on that front, right? So you mentioned that you're seeing that kind of thing, it gets you quite
Mhm.
emotional, right? So in that regard, like, can you remember the last song that got you emotional for whatever reason?
Oh, I think there's. Can I remember specifically the last one?
Well, it doesn't have to be the song, maybe the last moment. It might have been an old song that you heard again or whatever.
Well, it was earlier today.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually listening to the playlist that I provided to you, and I was just kind of like selectively going through and listening to one song here or there because and Rascal Flatts Moving On. That's the one that did it for me. But before that, it would have been um, Kelly Clarkson did a rendition of a Miley Cyrus song, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's the one about how she can buy herself flowers, write her name in the sand. Do you know what I mean? You probably don't know it because it's not classic rock, but there's a new Miley Cyrus
True.
song.
True.
I can buy myself flowers. I can.
I've
Anyway,
heard that
Kelly
mentioned.
Clarkson did that, and
Where have I heard
it
that
was
mentioned?
stunning.
Okay, I can't remember. It rings a bell somewhere, but
Okay. Yeah, Kelly Clarkson's one of those ones that's got one of those voices that is just absolutely magical. So powerful, so clear, so accurate, so I don't know. It's one of those ones that hits you here, and I love it. There you go. There was something recently. I've seen it a lot about Adam Lambert. Is that his name? Adam Lambert. He did.
lead singer.
Yes, he has a phenomenal voice. He recently did something as a tribute to Cher, and I see all these people like, oh, it was so wonderful, it was so wonderful. So I went and took a listen. I'm like, that was total shit. Total shit. He is so much better singer than that. And so they had done a rearrangement of the melody, and there's Cher. Oh, 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 it was so fake, and sorry.
Love it.
But I thought, is this what everyone is getting all excited about? He has a way better voice than this. This didn't even come close to showcasing his talent. Um, so yeah, it wasn't that one. I'll tell you that for nothing.
What was he doing it for? I don't know. Was it a charity
I don't know.
event? I
He
say
was on.
charity event. What was
Yeah,
it?
I know. It was some tribute to Cher. Some tribute to Cher, where he was on the stage and Cher was up in the, um, up in the what? Hello, the balcony. Thank you. The word wouldn't
Yeah,
come.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It was one of those kinds of things. And of course, it's a room filled with all kinds of other famous people. And they're all,
Mm.
and they're doing their little fake, fake. Sorry, they're all doing all of that
Oh, God.
silliness where they, just need to be in a place to be seen. But yeah, that one wasn't that good. But Kelly Clarkson doing Miley Cyrus was phenomenal. Another one I love is Pink. When she sings live, unbelievable. She has
Now,
such a voice.
other guests on this show have mentioned it in the same vein.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it's the power of a voice for you, is it?
Yeah. It is she
Wow.
had I love unusual voices. She's got a bit of a gravel to her, a little bit of a
Mm.
growl that sits in the undertone there. So it's don't get me wrong, her hitting the high notes is not her best, but when she's like in her range and singing, she has a really powerful, amazing, emotive, excuse me, emotive voice, and I love it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, listen, when you get powerful voice like that, they do kind of make you um all stop and go, whoa, hang on,
Yeah.
what's going on here? So, in that regard, do you recall the last band or album that made you go, "Whoa, hang on"?
Lincoln
Like,
Park.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, Lincoln Park. And it was Meteora. It was that one. Absolutely. His voice is unbelievable. Chester's voice was unbelievable. Yeah. Just the kind that it's almost like I don't want to say a stab in the heart, but it has that kind of feeling where it's like, oh, right. And I think it's a lot to do with the topics that they sing about and the pain that they sing about. It's such relatable pain.
What kind of
That,
things what do they sing about then?
oh, shitty parent relationships and abuse and other things like that.
The
Yeah,
usual.
yeah, the usual. But there's a lot of relatability about it. Numb is one of my favorite songs of theirs, and I feel like that one actually could be the soundtrack of my life. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I like the link there. Very nice.
Yeah.
So we also talked about live music
Love it.
and the experience that it has compared to the album that you hear at home or songs that you hear at home. And we talked about people that you know that you'd want to see around, and you mentioned that you never got to see the original Journey lineup.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else you'd have liked to have seen but never got the chance to?
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, good one.
I absolutely would have loved to have seen Led Zeppelin. I had the opportunity to go and see Rush before Neil died, and because the tickets were a gift to my late husband for his birthday, and one of his best friends was also a huge Rush fan. I kind of was like, take your best friend, and I stayed home instead of going. But I do, knowing that Neil Peart was going to die just so few years later, I wish I'd gone. Because now that I can never get back. But I think that the reason that I want to see them is because it's impossible now. It's impossible now. The song remains the same. Led Zeppelin did a recorded DVD of one of their concerts, and so I used to own that. So I've seen them live, but not in person. Not in person live. I've seen them recorded live.
Yeah.
Totally different experience.
100%, very
Yeah.
much so. So, in that regard, do you have like a favorite story or moment from a live show that you've been to?
Oh, okay. So in 1998 or 99, I can't remember what year I went.
Yeah.
We went to see the Backstreet Boys. My best friend at the time and I, we went to see the
Okay.
Backstreet Boys. Yeah, like I said, I really literally, my music tastes are everywhere.
All
And
good, all good.
we were in this we were literally up in the nosebleeds. The stage was so far away, none of us could see, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
We were there and we were caught up in the moment. And it was one of the few times where being at a concert, and my friend Gabriella is as shy as I am. So it was really, really weird that we would, next thing you know, be basically, linking arms with the people around us with our arms around each other's shoulders and singing along and, acting like the band. It was so, so lunatic because I was almost 30. So, but yeah, I think that was one of my most memorable ones, was that one.
God, love it. As even doesn't matter if you're in like the sky seats, right in the sky, or
No.
right up front, at the barrier. It's like you're in there,
Yeah.
And I think one of mine would have been well, the one that immediately springs to mind is when I went to see Oasis at Wembley Stadium.
Okay.
In 2008. No, 2009. Sorry.
Okay.
And I was at the barrier at the front, which I'd spent, probably best part of 5 hours standing, because obviously to get to the front of the barrier, you have to go early to make it through
Oh,
the
I thought you
rush
said
and
you
the
had to push
support
your way
band.
through.
Me, no, in this like frame, I no, because I say I'd had no chance budging through people because
Okay.
you're never quite sure. I mean, I know we said before, like music's a huge unifier and this kind of thing. You know, you're all there with each other, and you end up, linking arms with the next person or whatever it might be. But at the same time, to squeeze through to get to the front when you're on your own, it's not as if like, oh yeah, my mate's at the front. You know, I was just getting a drink or going to the toilet or something. It's like, no, that's probably not going to work. Anyway, was at the barrier, and the band are playing the last song, and it's the cover of I'm the Walrus. So the vocals finish
Oh,
early, and the rest of the band are playing on. And then Liam Gallagher jumps off the stage and starts to make his way down the front barrier, just sort of waving hi to the crowd and this kind of thing, right? And this is before the days of smartphones, and I only had those smart cameras, about yay
okay.
big, right?
Okay.
So I thought, hang on, he's coming down the front here. And I thought, okay, I have a chance here, because it was me, and the barrier was hardly a foot in front of me. So for all intents and purposes, at the barrier, I thought, okay, he's coming, right? And he gets to where we are, and he stands still pretty much in front of me. So this is if my hand is Liam, he's standing pretty much here. So I'm trying to like get his attention, but he's kind of looking up over me at the crowd, just taking it all in, right? And I still to this day don't know why. But I had a pair of like John Lennon like style glasses on, like sunglasses, even in the dark. I know it don't matter. And I took them off. And I reached out like that to give them to Liam. I have no idea why. Never planned on doing that, but I just stood there, arms out, trying to shout Liam, Liam, to get him to take them. And he started to look down, but then there was a shorter girl in front of me. So I'm about 5'6", and this girl must have been maybe about 5'3", and he saw her instead, and just like had a couple of seconds of interaction before he walked off. I'm like, shit. But on the camera, when you look back at the footage now, because I hit record on this camera, you got like Liam half in the picture, half not, where I'm going, Liam, and just definitely thinking like he's going to look down at the camera or something. And it never quite gets there. So I can see I was like that far away from giving my glasses to him. But yeah, that was a really cool moment to be at the barrier, and what turned out to be their last big sort of English stadium gig for now.
Yeah.
But these are things that you'll remember, and that's why the byproduct I got from that was and maybe this is also lost in today's stuff as well. The paper tickets you get.
Yeah.
I've got I made a whole collage of concert tickets, and
have all of them.
Yeah, and they make for brilliant artwork. Honestly, they do.
Yeah.
And I get I sometimes a little bit sort of like is disappointed when I book gig tickets nowadays. Hardly anyone gives paper tickets anymore. It's all on your phone.
Can you not print them?
Nope.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So
what are you gonna do? Take a screenshot and print that?
It's not the same, because like these tickets before, they were printed like say with the band's like logo, and like printed on a bit of personalized card, not just like a standard venue ticket printing.
Yeah.
Which some still do, but yeah, nowadays when you go book them, it's like the only option is the e-ticket. There's no like, oh, you can get them in the post for like £1 extra or whatever. It's like there's no paper. It's like, man,
save the trees. There you go.
Save the trees. No, I get it. It's all good. But it's like, yeah, well, I want to add to this collection, man. I want to add to
absolutely. You can scrapbook those babies.
Yeah. But I used to have them. I'm looking at it now. I have a whole wall of like photos I've taken. And,
very cool.
Get tickets, but I found that like because the display I've got is pretty much next to my windows, that when sunlight comes in, it hits the it hits the display, and it's starting to fade some of the tickets, like the printing on it. You can still make it out. It's like, oh shit, if I leave this too much longer, it's just like, wait, where's it gone? It's like just got the faded paper. So I had to sort of like take down thinking, I'll put them in like a separate display somewhere out of the lights. So that's but yeah, that's music for you. Yeah, look, this has taken us like another half an hour, right, to add on. So
Yeah.
I think let's wrap it up there. As I said, leave with people wanting
Okay.
more, and as I said, look out for the show with Danielle. If you're watching this live or even afterwards, you'll find her full show on my channel that you're watching this on now. Soundtrack of Your Life. Go check that out. And if audio is your thing, you can check it out on major podcast channels. And if you want to be a guest on the show, just look for the link in one of the shows that you watch. You can find the contact form to reach out to me. And Danielle, if you just want to give a shout out to where people can find you, if they want to carry the conversation on, etc.
Facebook. That's the best place to find me is Facebook. Um, yeah, that's it. Nice and easy. It's literally just there, Danielle Wilson. No fancy monikers, nothing like that. You'll see similar colors in the profile, so you will know it is me. Um, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Danielle, for your time and
Thank
being
you.
so cool to be on the show. And catch you all on the next one.
Yes, thank you very much.